Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I'm going to read a little poem from James J. Metcalf called It's Up to Me. I get discouraged now and then when there are clouds of gray until I think about the things that happened yesterday. I do not mean the day before or those of months ago, but all the yesterdays in which I had the chance to grow. I think of opportunities that I allowed to die and those I took advantage of before they passed me by. And I remember that the past presented quite a plight, but somehow I endured it and the future seemed all right. And I remind myself that I am capable and free, and my success and happiness are really up to me. Just imagine that you are creating your world. You really are co-creating your world with the great architect, with God, with universal intelligence. Your thoughts are going out into the invisible universe, and through the vibrational energy of your thoughts, you're bringing into your physical experience things that you really want, and you're also manifesting things that you don't want just because of the energy that you're putting into thinking about good and bad, prosperity and poverty, what you really want to happen and what you are hoping that doesn't happen but expecting. Bob Proctor wrote a book called You Were Born Rich, and he talks about the image maker. You can use this concept for whatever you desire. As the knowledge of image making eliminates competition from your life by moving you from the competitive plane to the creative plane. Soon understand that in truth, the only competition you will ever have is with your own ignorance. Bob Proctor says this idea truly excites me. To be more accurate, I should probably say sharing this idea with you excites me because I know how it can improve every aspect of your life. I honestly love watching people grow or unfold as new ideas register in their consciousness. Well, that's why I got into this, is because the information that Bob Proctor taught me excites me to share with the world, and I love watching people grow and unfold as they get new ideas and take action and go after their dreams and have them come into physical manifestation. It is so rewarding. It is so exciting to know that you can choose your life. You can choose what you want to bring into your reality. You are an image maker. Most religions teach that God is responsible for everything made in this world. I fully agree. However, as co-creators, human beings must bear responsibility for what God makes in their lives. Just think about the energy that you put into worrying about what's going to happen. You fear the unknown. You stress about love or money or job security or economics or elections, instead of focusing on all the wonderful things that you have created in your life, all the victories that you have attained, all the things, the challenges that you have overcome, all the good that you have done in your life. If today was your last day on this earth, what legacy are you leaving? What would people be saying about you? How have you affected other people's lives just by being you, just by the things that you have done, the things that you have accomplished, the love that you have shown? I'm going to tell you a little story that Bob Proctor writes to make this point about what you are capable of in your life. Think about there's something that you are meant to do, something that you really desire, something that you want more than anything. And instead of talking yourself out of it or putting it on hold or procrastinating because maybe you're scared or you don't know how, just imagine you have all the money, all the resources, everything is ready for you to grab what you want, to live the life you desire, to do that purposeful work that you've been putting off. Maybe you're worried about what other people are going to say. Maybe you don't think you have enough talent or skill or ability. Whatever is holding you back, pretend for a moment that you have the ability to accomplish everything you want. It's turning out perfectly, even better than you thought. What would that look like? I'm going to ask you to take a moment and write it down. Write down what you truly desire. If you had all the skill, all the talent, all the ability, all the resources you needed to live the life you want, serving others purposefully, bringing in the money you want, doing good in the world. Or maybe it's just a comfort that you desire. Write it down, and I'll be right back. Good morning again. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Do you have a picture in your mind of something that your heart desires more than anything? Something that you would create if you had the ability? Well, listen to this story. Many years ago, a minister was driving along a remote country road when he happened upon a beautiful farm. The farm was kept in absolutely magnificent condition. The fences were well cared for, the crops were a radiant green, and although the house was set back some distance from the road, it was abundantly clear that it had a clean, fresh coat of white paint on it. Well-cultivated flower beds encircled the house and stretched all along both sides of the long, wide driveway leading to it from the road. In a neat row along both sides of the drive as well were straight lines of tall green poplar trees reaching up to a picturesque pale blue sky. The lawns surrounding the house were a deep, rich green and as well manicured as any putting green ever was. Indeed, the entire picture would have fit well on a postcard, since it was absolutely breathtaking in its splendor. Then the minister looked off to his right, to the other side of the road. Here the fields were plowed, the earth was the deepest black the minister had ever seen, and he was amazed at how the furrows had been plowed in such a way that they stretched out in rows as straight as clotheslines. Far off in the distance, the minister could see the farmer sitting up on his tractor with a straw hat on the back of his head and clad in an old light blue pair of overalls. It appeared that the farmer was moving toward the road as he was plowing. Since the minister was in no particular hurry, he pulled his car over to the side of the road, got out of it, and walked toward the fence. When he reached it, he just stood still, enjoying the light breeze, the warm sunlight, and admiring the beauty of the farm and the farmer's ability to plow such straight furrows. As the farmer worked his way toward the road, he noticed the minister leaning against the fence. So he brought the tractor to a halt, climbed down from it, and slowly started to walk in the minister's direction. As the farmer got closer, the minister smiled, raised his arm, and waved, saying, "My good man, God has certainly blessed you with a beautiful farm." The farmer stopped, pulled out an old red and white polka dot handkerchief from his pocket with his big, scarred and calloused hands. He raised his arm and wiped the sweat from his sun-scorched brow, still not saying a word. Then he reached up with his other hand and gently took from his mouth the long piece of straw that had been bouncing and waving as he walked. He stood in silence for a moment, looking at the minister, and then he spoke. With a slow, steady voice, he replied, "Yes, Reverend, you're right. God has blessed me with a beautiful farm, but I just wish you could have seen it when he had it all to himself." Understand that images are mental pictures that are made from thoughts. And the magnificence of the mind lies in the fact that it can think. That is to say, it can tap into thought and create whatever image it chooses. Now just imagine how beautiful that farm was, but how much work the farmer put into painting that house, plowing the fields in the beautiful straight furrows, all the weeding, all the digging stones to get it to be as beautiful as what the Reverend saw. It amazes me when people can see a rundown, dilapidated, condemned building and see the potential and put in all the sweat equity and turn it into a beautiful home that people will live in. What you imagine, you can create. If you see a piece of land that is run wild with weeds and trees and shrubs, and you can see a beautiful farm, and you buy that piece of land and You plow the fields and you build a house and you settle there. Not only is it the way you put in the work to create it, it's also what you saw in your mind. Instead of seeing an overgrown pasture, seeing a beautiful farmland and the crops and how you're going to raise your family. Another person would just, thousands of people could drive by and just see a scattered mess, but you saw the potential. You saw the kitchen, how it could be filled with love and joy and your family eating together. You saw the potential. Whatever you see in your imagination is meant for you, but you're the one to take action, to put in the work, to maybe dig the garden, paint the house, write the book, start your business, create a program. What do you see in your imagination that no one else sees yet? The potential, the possibilities. The possibilities are all around us. We just need to become consciously aware of the opportunity and then take action. If we don't, someone else will. The universal intelligence is always available to everyone at the same time. So if you get an idea and you don't act on it, someone else will. Someone else will buy that scruffy piece of land and turn it into a resort or a beautiful farm. Play with your mind for a few minutes and become aware of how you can flash one picture or image on the screen of your mind. It's almost as if you were sitting inside your body at a great theater. You are the writer, the producer, the director of the movie that you're watching. You can see a farm. You can switch to your kitchen. You can switch to a beach. You can switch your mind to thinking about the love of your family, what you're going to be doing. You can have past images and future images. Your mind is a powerful creator. Wallace Wattles wrote a book called The Science of Getting Rich, and he says this thinking stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the cosmos. It is true that thoughts are everywhere, and we can tap into this thinking stuff with our mind and form any image we choose. Now, become aware of this truth. Everything we do is preceded by an image. We think first in order to form an image, and then we do the work. Columbus imaged a new world that you and I are living in. The Wright brothers imaged us being propelled through the air and introduced us to a new kingdom of flight. Samuel Morse imaged himself interrupting the flow of energy through metallic wires and gave us the telegraph with the Morse code. Copernicus imaged a multiplicity of worlds, and now we have been there. Through the years, history has recorded the results of great visionaries. In fact, everything ever accomplished was at first and for a time nothing more than an image held in the mind of the architect. Realize now that you too are the mental architect of your own destiny. Consider this. Jack Nicklaus, the world-famous golfer, explained he will not even pick up a golf club until he has a very clear image on the screen of his mind showing exactly how the ball will fly through the air, how it will hit the ground, and where it will roll after it hits. Nicholas called this going to the movies, and he became so proficient at it that he became a famous golfer known throughout the world. Fame and fortune were his for the asking. Wallace Waddell said, there is a thought stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the cosmos. In truth, there is a thought stuff everywhere around you and within you. So become aware of this truth and tap into it now. Use it to form an image on the screen of your mind. See yourself already in possession of the amount of money you want, to provide the things that you need to live in the style you choose to live. You are using mental faculties that everyone has. They are the same mental faculties used by Copernicus, Buddha, the Wright brothers, Samuel Morse. You might have formed the habit of thinking that people like those are different. But I want you to know the only difference between you and them or anyone else is only in appearance and accomplishments. We all live in different physical bodies, and we all use our inherent mental faculties in a different way. But our basic structure is fundamentally the same. Just build the image of prosperity on the screen of your mind and watch what happens. All the truly great leaders are in complete agreement that what you think, you become. Even Jesus tried to tell the world as he was doing his great work some 2,000 years ago that you too are capable of doing what he was doing. In fact, he even went a step further and said, even greater things are you capable of. Believe him, he spoke the truth. Other people will say that's not what he meant. But if you can see it and believe it, you can do it. Napoleon Hill spent almost his entire life studying 500 of the world's greatest achievers, and the essence of his exhaustive studies and writings is contained in the book Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not many people believe this, but the ones who do, they prove it to themselves. And then it shows up for the world. Why don't you prove it to yourself now? Just build the image of prosperity, love, respect, the ideal life that you really desire. Build the image on the screen of your mind. Remember, though, regardless of how tough things get, you must continue to hold the picture of personal prosperity. You will very likely run up against a series of circumstances that will, for a time, almost have you convinced that you're actually going backwards. But persistence is the key. Continue to hold the picture of what your heart desires, whether it's personal prosperity or whatever you want that you believe in having, it will fulfill you. And understand that what is happening to you is what must happen to prepare you to receive the good you desire. Circumstances are not put in your path to deter you, but to strengthen you. Persistence, Napoleon Hill devoted an entire chapter in Think and Grow Rich to persistence. In that chapter, he said, there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the character is to the quality of man what carbon is to steel. Napoleon Hill also pointed out in another part that the only thing which separated Thomas Edison or Henry Ford from the rest of the people in the world was persistence. Both of these great men had an image, and they would not let anyone or anything dissuade them. They were persistent. Thomas Edison illuminated the world, and Henry Ford put the world on wheels. Of course, both these men were richly rewarded. Money is a reward for service rendered. These men provided a tremendous service to millions of individuals, and their reward was in direct proportion to their service rendered. So you can build the image of prosperity in your mind and be persistent, and the way for your image to materialize will be shown to you. It takes persistence. You can't just imagine once in a while, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be good? But you must spend most of your leisure time thinking and feeling what it's like to really have your image be your physical reality. Get into that state of being. What would your central nervous system be doing? Would it be eagerly anticipating? Would it be joyful? Would you be feeling calm and content and prosperous and looking for ways to add more value? How would you be feeling? What state of being are you in now that you get a clear picture of what you desire, why you want it, how it feels to have it? You should have such a deep desire that when you feel aligned with your beautiful achievement, you're so proud and happy. Go there in your mind as often as possible. And as you do, ideas will come to you. And as you take action on those ideas, that leads you to the next step. And soon you are living that image that you brought into the screen of your mind. Make it big, make it bold, make it beautiful. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. What do you want to create today? I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.